Welcome to Btekt, this is David. This video is sponsored by Direct Mobiles. Check out their deals at directmobiles.co.uk. So if you're like me and you're up on the leaks and rumours about the upcoming smartphones that we expect to see in 2020, you'll know that photography is really being taken to another level this year. We're expecting to see phones that carry 100 megapixel plus sensors, telescope-like zooms, and even 8K video recording, despite the fact that pretty much nobody's got an 8K display to watch this stuff back on. Well, almost nobody. But it's not just all about big numbers. One thing that I haven't heard mentioned at all about the upcoming Galaxy S20 range is the dual aperture. I'm not sure if they're looking to keep it this year, but I really hope that they do. They first revealed it on the Galaxy S9 series, but never chose to improve the feature. In very bright conditions, the aperture would stop down to f2.4, and in lower light, it could open again to f1.5, sharpening up the picture across the frame when stopped down, or narrowing the depth of field and adding more background blur when opened. An aperture gives you a lot of control on how the final image will look, and it's pretty much essential when shooting photos with a regular DSLR camera. I know it's not really a headline grabbing feature, which is probably why we haven't really seen much love from it from Samsung since the S9, but I think it does add a lot to the photos, more than what people realise, and I hope they keep it in the S20 series. When shooting video with a DSLR, you really don't want to change the shutter speed if you need to reduce the amount of light hitting the sensor. So it is useful to have an aperture, but changing the aperture will affect the depth of field as well as reducing the amount of light coming in, so it's not always the right way to do it. So videographers tend to use ND filters or neutral density filters, which physically screw onto the end of the camera lens to cut the amount of light coming in. OnePlus's Concept 1, which they recently showed off at CES, uses a tinted glass which covers the rear camera and completely hides it away until the camera is activated, where becoming opaque and revealing the camera. It's a visually stunning piece of design, especially in today's era of multi-lens square camera bumps. They're getting bigger and bigger and therefore harder to design a pleasing aesthetic for. It takes a small electrical charge to change the transparency of the glass, and OnePlus say the process is actually quicker than the time it takes to activate the camera. But it can be used for more than just enhancing the looks. By definition, this new glass is a neutral density filter for smartphones. The amount of light passing through can be controlled, and if OnePlus can release this design to the market, this inherently gives them an advantage when it comes to recording video. It is essentially another way to control the intake of light rather than just your ISO and your shutter speed. And I just feel like smartphone photography right now could benefit from this type of technology. Personally, I would love to see a smartphone with this type of rear glass and some kind of movable aperture. This will give the user ultimate control over his or her photos. And in the age of 100 megapixel smartphone camera sensors, I really think there is a place for this and for movable apertures. And I hope that we'll see at least one smartphone this year that could add all of these features in one device. I think that would be my perfect smartphone for photography. A large sensor, high megapixel count, periscope zoom, movable aperture and 8K video, and of course this neutral density style glass. Although OnePlus devices are very good, brilliant actually, fantastic design and a great user experience, they're not really known for their camera performance. So I don't really expect them to produce this, but I just think that smartphones are so sophisticated now that they could benefit from these non-digital type features, such as the aperture and the glass. However, there is a case to argue that maybe smartphone sensors are actually too small for things like apertures. But I'm arguing that actually smartphone sensors are getting bigger. They're routinely larger than 1 inch now. And yes, an aperture won't make as much difference to the depth of field as it would on a larger sensor, but an ND filter on a smartphone would allow for long exposure effects for photographers. And I think that anybody who uses Pro mode regularly would appreciate that. And when you consider that we could be getting 8K video recording as well, I could see a lot of filmmakers turn into smartphones for productions. And if that is the case, then there would definitely be a market for it, albeit a relatively niche one. At the moment, this new type of variable glass will probably be too expensive to develop for smartphones at the moment, although I think it's one of the coolest technologies that we've seen on a smartphone for a while and eventually could lead to maybe a phone that changes color. Who knows, but I hope that OnePlus will continue to develop it. But regardless, we have so many great devices to look forward to in 2020. Shooting video at 8K will be fun. Stay tuned to Btekt as we'll have reviews of all the top phones as soon as they're released. And of course, you know the best place to find these devices will be the Direct Mobiles website. Here's a place that you can compare all of the offers and deals from all of the networks all in one place. And they have over 24 years of award-winning customer service, so you're in great hands. Direct Mobiles is here to find you the best possible price. Check down in the video description below for a link or search directmobiles.co.uk. And also down there you'll find a link to the Btekt Amazon shop where you'll find all the best tech and accessories all recommended by us. Definitely worth checking out. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, leave me a like and a comment and subscribe for more Btekt. Follow me on social media. My name's David, this is Btekt.